This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, a month into the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Southern expats gathered in the Octagon on Saturday. Central Otago artist Luke Anthony prepares to show his recycled timber sculptures. And graffiti art from all walks of life is celebrated in Ōtautahi. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. Into the fourth week of the war overseas, and southern members of the Ukraine met in Dunedin's lower Octagon. Dunedin Member of Parliament David Clark showed his support from the New Zealand government for the people of Ukraine on Saturday, while a visiting musician from Auckland rekindled his roots, singing a Ukrainian folk song.
On Saturday morning, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern phoned Ukraine's Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal to reiterate New Zealand's strong support for Ukraine and its people, and our nation's unequivocal condemnation of Russia's aggression. In the Octagon, Dunedin MP David Clark spoke on behalf of the New Zealand government.
We're asking that regime to cease the invasion and withdraw and leave Ukraine in a peaceful state.
Olha Vysenko has been a rallying figure over the last month of events in Dunedin. She says there's been much more sadness in the past week, with one of the worst events, the bombing of a theatre, being used as a shelter for about 1,000 women and children.
I think it was a sign for them to bomb it, and inside was probably 1,000 people, mothers, children and other people who lose their houses because of bombing before. And they just bombed that theatre.
Various speakers shared their thoughts, showing their support for the people of Ukraine, including a poet and this young singer who touched the crowd with a version of Hallelujah. Vysenko says while there is sadness, there isn't time to grieve at the moment, as the work is only now just beginning. Towards the end of the event, a young man asked if he could share a song with the gathering. Jesse Sheehan is an Auckland-based music teacher of Ukrainian descent, who was passing while in Dunedin with his partner for a Spanish dance competition. He says he felt compelled to share a song his grandmother used to sing to him.
When my grandma and granddad fled, they cut ties because it was too dangerous at that time with the history of the area, fleeing the Soviet Union.
The Ukrainian community plans to gather each Saturday at noon in the lower Octagon, and Vysenko says all are welcome to come and show support for the millions of people affected by the Russian invasion. In Dunedin, The South Today.
Dunedin's Kavanagh College is to be renamed after an investigation found its namesake failed to take appropriate action over claims of abuse. The school is set to become Trinity Catholic College from the start of next year. 4 years ago, former pupils Christian McNabb and Sam Murphy called for the name to be changed. The school now admits that Catholic Bishop John Kavanagh had failed to act on claims of sexual abuse by priests. They included priest Magnus Murray, who was jailed for 5 years in 2003 and currently lives in an Auckland rest home. Until recently, the school still displayed a group photograph that included Murray. A Ranfurly carver is transforming driftwood into lifelike birds. Luke Anthony has always been creative and has returned to working with wood after a varied career, working at everything from graphic design to the construction industry.
Hammering away. Ranfurly-based carver Luke Anthony's gift for transforming discarded blocks of wood into lifelike birds is one he's been sharing for many years, and he's currently working towards a group show.
Pretty much commissioned by the gallery that wants to exhibit it amongst me and two artist friends, Nigel and Rachel. Nigel Wilson and Rachel Hiravati. We've both got a group show coming up, and I have to get this finished for it.
The lifelike nature of his native birds is evidenced in a video a client took, where a live fantail appears to be courting one of the carver's wooden facsimiles. Many of his creations are painted when they've taken shape. Anthony says he often multitasks while painting his work.
So that fine detail there is all burnt in. So that's the carved feather, and then you detail that. That can be done just sitting in front of a Netflix a bit. Netflix does slow you down if you're actually interested in the show.
His workshop is filled with photos and unfinished carvings, along with his tools, paints and books. Before he hangs up his tools for good, one of his goals is to carve every native New Zealand bird at least once.
So far I've got away with, and I like the provenance of New Zealand native wood to make New Zealand native birds from salvaged native timber that wasn't purposely cut down just for me to make a bird. It's been repurposed.
He also prefers using traditional tools and says 70% of his tools are ones he's had restored and given a new lease of life. The Indigo Arts Group show, featuring Anthony with fellow Central Otago artists Nigel Wilson and Rachel Hirabayashi, opens early April at the Athol Gallery on the Garston Highway. In Central Otago, the South Today.
The word unique is being applied to a proposed settlement of hillside cabins in Queenstown. The development is planned to be nestled among wilding Douglas fir trees at Arthur's Point. It'll eventually comprise of 50 high-quality eco-passive cabins. The average floor area of the cabins is 390 square metres. Some are listed at $385,000, although many are priced at over $500,000. Christchurch City recently hosted the inaugural Flair Street Art Festival, which saw a number of large murals painted on the sides of buildings in the CBD. Among those taking part was graffiti artist Icarus, who's keen to refresh the city's reputation as a street art capital.
Artist Nick Tam is a founder of Christchurch's graffiti art collective, the DTR Crew. Better known as Icarus, he's one of the artists recently completing a series of giant murals in the central city as part of the Flair Street Art Festival. His flawless clean line style and encyclopedic knowledge of graffiti art make him one of the city's most respected artists.
A lot of things now fall under the umbrella of street art, but the style that I do is more like traditional graffiti style, which was sort of born in the late 70s, early 80s, has a lot of like a throwback to America, so there's like a movement on the subway rails over there.
He says he was lucky to get some guidance early on in his career.
I started off 25 odd years ago just as another tagger kid, like running around writing my name on stuff, to be honest, and at that time I actually wasn't very interested in the artistic side of it, and it's taken me like sort of having a few opportunities and the right people around me has sort of got me to these places that like I really never thought I would be.
Icarus says Christchurch became a mecca for taggers and street artists after buildings in the CBD were damaged in the 2011 earthquakes.
Once the city started looking so sort of downtrodden and derelict, those splashes of colours, lady literally was saying today how like one of the first things that pulled her out of like a really bad mental health slump after the earthquakes was walking around the city and just discovering a whole bunch of new art.
And he believes Christchurch still has one of the strongest street art scenes in the Southern Hemisphere, with Icarus planning more colourful works around the city. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Whai Yakane, still to come on the South Today. Water restrictions tighten for the South, and a Central Otago family is caught up in a wild pest problem.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
Hi, we're a Concern Otago.
Age Concern Otago hosts a multitude of social activities,
including little bobs.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Spark your joy with jazz, the next generation from Honda.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Hi there, guess who? Do you recognise the eyes? Oh, okay, it's a haircut. Anyway, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores are carrying on as usual. Despite what's happening in the world, we have got some great stock for you. Personally, I've spent 50 years in this business and we have some excellent supplier relationships. We've got great stock, it's hand-picked, it's here, it's on time, and it's ready for this great summer.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So, as my favourite cut says, keep calm and carry on.
Every day the team at Gillian supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
What have you got?
Okay. Chicks World, party time, excellent.
Love it! Chicks World! Chicks World! Right.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. Water restrictions have begun for Invercargill as the dry patch begins to bite. The flow of the city's water supply, the Oriti River, is continuing to fall. Unattended hosing and sprinklers are now banned. Water restrictions were last applied to Invercargill 4 years ago. Environment Southland says much of coastal Southland is badly in need of rain. Vibrant coloured powder was smeared over people's clothes and faces as part of a Hindu celebration on Saturday. Members of the Fiji Indian community in the south celebrate Holi Day, which is one of the most important days on the Hindu calendar.
Daubed with coloured powder, Shinal Dale gathered all her family and several members of Southland's Fijian Indian community in her home in Invercargill on Saturday. They were celebrating Holi, which is an important date on the Hindu calendar.
So it's basically good over evil, so that's why we have to celebrate it with colours.
Capturing the vibrant party that the Hindu community celebrates back home in Fiji, the group visited about 8 homes across Southland.
So we started off from Go, so we all traveled to Go, and then we went to about 3 to 4 houses there, and then one stop at Winton, had lunch there, and then we came here, did like about 6 houses here, and then this was the last stop.
While Dale's been living in Southland for 13 years, she says this is the first time she organised a Holi celebration for the community. In Invercargill, the South today.
Wild rabbits have been running around the mind of one Lake Hayes family. The Otago Regional Council has demanded an annual report from landowners about how they're controlling the pests on their property. To prove a point, the Henderson family now have filed a 9-page submission documenting how 2 furry pest controllers are tackling the plague on their relatively small section.
2 much appreciated pest controllers. Scratchy and Whiskers are the much-loved pets of Kieran Henderson, but the felines have also been employed by his father Ralph to address the local pest problem on their Lake Hayes property.
This one mainly catches rabbits and not rats.
The Otago Regional Council ruled last year that hundreds of landowners in rabbit-infested communities have to submit an annual report under the Regional Pest Management Plan. It's seen as overkill for many residents. In response, Ralph Henderson's filed a detailed 9-page report to the ORC of what his 2 hard-working moggies have been up to over the past year, including maps of terrain the cats patrol every day.
Look, it's hard to keep a running tally. I submitted my rabbit management plan. Probably they're killing about 400 plus a year because I reckon they average about 1.5 a day. From the number of carcasses we throw in the bin, that would probably be about right.
As well as the feline pest controllers, the families installed a rabbit-proof fence, although it was a challenge to find a contractor willing to do the work.
I think they're just too much work, and really small jobs aren't that economical for them, so at times it's just really hard to get someone to finish things.
However, the rabbit-proof fence has saved a lot of trees on their 4,000 square metre section.
So the rabbit-proof fencing is really important just to keep them out. Otherwise they not only do they eat the grass and so forth, but they strip trees and small shrubs and so forth, and anything which has got kind of light bark, even just not necessarily for food but for sharpening the teeth when they're really young.
The Regional Council has responded well to the report, saying that Mr Henderson certainly shows a creative flair and a sense of humour, which are good characteristics to have in these times. In Lake Hayes, the South Today.
FA Yakane. After the break on the South Today, Daredevil moves over a central Otago lake, entertain locals, and we take a look at tomorrow's weather.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
Livingwell Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. There were daredevil moves and heart-stopping moments as paragliders put on a show above Lake Dunstan over the weekend. The competitors were taking part in this year's annual aerobatic paragliding competition.
Paragliding over Lake Dunstan in central Otago, a small group of daredevils with a good head for heights performed tricks above the lake. The gliders were launched into the air by being towed with a boat, releasing themselves from the tow rope once they were about a kilometre in the air.
It's a competition event that's aimed to sort of just for everyone just to have a good time for paragliding, doing aerobatic manoeuvres safely over the lake.
Called ArcoFest, the event originally started about 20 years ago and after a long break was revived last year. Organiser Ben Kellett says the weekend-long friendly competition helps people improve their acrobatic paragliding skills, with a soft dunking in the lake if the landing doesn't go quite to plan.
It's the best escape, you know, especially when you're up above the lake at 1,000 metres and, you know, that sensation, that flow that you get from doing tricks and manoeuvres.
Kellett says the winds over Lake Dunstan are more gentle than other central lakes and there's less planes to worry about. And he says improving acrobatic skills is useful for other types of paragliding.
It also translates into other type of paragliding where we try to fly long distance. So this really trains us to have really good glider handling skills so that when we're in the mountains we can control the glider better.
While COVID-19 resulted in the event being smaller this year, organisers are looking forward to a bigger turnout next year. Near Cromwell, The South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on The South Today. A month into the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Southern expats gathered in the Octagon on Saturday with a local MP lending his voice. Central Otago artist Luke Anthony prepares to show his avian recycled timber sculptures as he turns bollards into birds. And a celebration of graffiti art in Ototahi is celebrating a myriad of styles at the inaugural Flair Street Art Festival. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and joining us is our Deputy Editor, Craig Page.
Thank you.
Get it right, shall I?
I have been called worse, so it's fine. So we're looking ahead to tomorrow's announcement or expected announcement from the PM, Jacinda Ardern. Yes. Sort of regarding COVID mandates, we're expecting maybe some time frames to be put around some of the restrictions that are in place. So
right.
A lot of interest there. Yeah, it will be. We've been out and talked to a lot of businesses about what they would like to see, and the overwhelming comment was that they'd like to see that 100 limit capped for gatherings. Of course, you know, it opens up more opportunities in terms of their businesses, restaurants, bars, all those sorts of things. So that's what they're hoping is going to happen. A lot of them struggling financially, so that would be a huge lift. So we will have our fingers crossed for them tomorrow. Yes. An old favourite story about that, the Regent book sale. It's gearing up for its first book sale in 2 years. They gathered quite a collection of books in those 2 years. They're bursting at the seams with them apparently. So, nice. So they're getting underway. It's going to be a bit different this year. It's from April 1 to April 10. A new system where you pay a fee and then you're allowed in for 90 minutes to choose your books. So only way they can do it, I guess, under current situation with COVID. Yeah. But even if that changes tomorrow, they're going to carry on with that system anyway. So yeah, it'd be good to see it up and running, and it's a great little fundraiser for the city as well.
Always.
So, yeah, it is. At Fresh Pages, we have a look at a book which focuses on African cuisine. So if you like your spicy food, that's something to get. And just finally with sport, we catch up with the Highlanders. Of course, they were unable to play last week because of COVID. Yeah. Missed the match with Moana Pacifica. We've talked to assistant coach Clark Dermody, who said that it was really widespread throughout the squad. He managed to pick it up himself and was quite ill with it. So
did go through.
Yeah, it did. So plenty there. They are confident they're going to get a team to play the Blues this Saturday.
Okay.
They've been able to call on some recruitments. Haven't said who, but we understand there's a few from other parts of the country that will be able to get involved over the next couple of weeks to get them through. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, we'll look forward to reading that right up in the paper tomorrow, Craig. Thank you. And now a look at what's happening in the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by MoleMap.
Looking at the situation, a depression is decaying west of the South Island while another approaches the east of the North Island from the subtropics. A nor'easterly airflow over Otago will ease tomorrow and tend southwesterly from Thursday. Meanwhile, a weakening cold front is moving over the region from the Tasman Sea. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns and along the coast, Catlins is in for moderate nor'easterlies with some cloud and a high of 19 degrees. Further inland, Balclutha, Lumsden, Gore can all expect fine weather with light northerlies and highs of 21 or 22. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes area, Wanaka, Queenstown, Alexandra, all in for moderate northerlies with some high cloud reaching 23 or 24. Similar in Te Anau with light winds, cloud increasing and a high of 19 degrees. Looking at the northern towns along the coast, Timaru and Oamaru can expect moderate nor'easterlies with cloudy skies and a high of 19 or 20. Further inland, Twizel and Omarama both in for moderate northerlies with some high cloud and a high of 24 degrees. In Dunedin, it'll be overcast tonight with drizzle patches and breezy nor'easterlies dropping to 15. Warmer tomorrow with cloud breaking and sunny periods increasing during the morning. Still mild and humid with breezy nor'easterlies up to 19 and down to 16 degrees. Thursday brings mild northerlies and high cloud with a cool afternoon southwesterly change. Those winds and showers will pick up and then drop right back. A high of 18 and a low of 11 degrees. And down to Invercargill, it'll be fine tonight with some fog and low cloud as it drops down to 11 degrees. Warm, fine and sunny tomorrow with moderate northerlies, a high of 23 and a low of 13 degrees. There'll be some showers developing early Thursday with colder southwesterlies freshening and showers clearing later in the day, bringing a high of 17 and a low of 10 degrees. And that's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te po, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.